Ladies and gentlemen, with the heaviest of hearts, we would like to dedicate this week's edition of the Impact Asylum Heelcast to the late Jan Ross. As many of you may know, Jan Ross, who is the wife of Jim Ross, tragically lost her life in an accident last week. And not often in our sport do we see such an outpouring of love and sadness towards the spouse of a talent. But it just goes to show you how loved and how special of a talent Jim Ross truly is. So on behalf of the entire show, I would like to send my love, prayers, and condolences towards Jim and his family during this tough, devastating time. So please join us as we pay proper tribute to Jan right now with a 10-bell salute.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heelcast. It's Brother Underscore. I've been away for a while, but this week we got a pretty cool cast of characters. We got my buddy Kyle. Kyle, how's it hanging, buddy?
It feels good to be in the place to be. We are all here hanging out, and we love that owl, don't we, boys? We love that owl.
Woot, woot! Now look, you know who else we got with us? Oh, we got the master of the Impact Zone, the IZ man himself. We got the Chef is back with us again this week. Chef, how you doing, man? Chef?
Oh no, those
Oh,
damn
God.
police. Chef, you know your rights. Tell them you know your rights. Don't let them frisk you, Chef. Rights.
I'm really good. What's going on, fellas?
We got scared.
Thought you were making a liar out of me. I said we got Chef, and then there's their Chef. Oh, good grief. All right, now look, guys, I got to be honest. I was a little worried about leaving the show last week in the hands of the chronic pot smoker, the gangster, and the chronic mastigator. But look, you guys really did. Look, you guys really did a great job, and I was very impressed. However, guys, look, we got some listener feedback, and it is about Chef's colorful language. So look, after reviewing the show, Chef, I think you used the F-bomb in just about every single frickin' sentence, man. So look, Chef, if you're still around, buddy, we came up with this idea, all right? And I got to tell you something. This is straight from Kyle, all right? But I'm sold on it. This is an awesome idea. On this show today, folks, every time that Chef drops the F-bomb, go ahead, Kyle. Every time he drops that F-bomb, Kyle's going to press the bomb sound effect. Now look, Chef, every time you drop the N-bomb, Kyle's going to do his schlep bomb sound effect twice. Now here's the thing, Chef. Here's the deal now, because we're making this deal with you, and we're hitting you over the head with it, because we didn't tell you about this until we went live on the air. Folks, if Chef goes the entire broadcast with less than 5, count them 5 bombs going off, Chef will win the opportunity to host the Heelcast for any upcoming episode of his show. We're talking about a one-time special Mafia takeover with Chef in charge. There will be a parental advisory warning ahead. All right, we're gonna make sure we warn people, Chef. We're not gonna let little kids listen to the Heelcast and find out that every other word is the F-bomb. All right, but here's the thing, Chef.
Or the N-bomb.
When you're screwing with the Heelcast, we reward you, but we take away too. All right. if you go over 5 bombs, 5 or more, all right, if you hit that 5 number, dropped on this show, Chef, this show, we're going to make you watch the entire 3 hours. Yes, the entire 3-hour broadcast of Monday Night Raw. And Chef, it's worse. It's worse than that, Chef. No, it just gets worse. Because you're going to have to broadcast yourself live on Twitter, Periscope, or the Facebook Mafia page. Okay?
Any way you can do it, but you can get bathroom breaks. You can get bathroom breaks on the commercials. But from 8 o'clock to 11:15, whatever it is, you have to watch the whole entire episode of Monday Night Raw.
Now, look, Chef, we just want to let you know, okay? We're talking commercials. That bathroom breaks are during commercials. I realize the entire show is a bathroom break for you, okay? But it doesn't work that way. And you got to be back by the end of the commercial. You can't just be like, Hurls and sit on the shitter going, right? The entire show, all right? So what do you think, Chef? You in, man? You could do this. We're talking Mafia Takeover. Whatever you want.
Man, that's some foul shit. That's foul, man. That's really foul shit.
I see he's using the S-bomb, but that wasn't on here.
Man.
I guess that's all right.
It sounds awesome as shit, but like, I think I'm dead.
Look, Chef, we didn't say that you had to be nice to Raw. We just said you had to watch it.
Focus here, but I don't think there's any way possible, and it's really messed up because the LAX is around. So,
look, here's the thing, Chef, and you're not allowed to skip things this week and say, I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to talk about that. Man, you got to talk. All right, guys. So look, as always, we got to do some plugs here. We got ImpactAsylum.net. Check it out. Straight Shooting with FK9. We got the Mafia Facebook page. This shit might be going viral next week, okay? By the way, Chef, I'd prefer to see you on Periscope. I think that would be like the bomb. Don't forget, Robert Does Wrestling, DivaDirt.com, and the King of the Mountain podcast as well. So, guys, this has been a fairly quiet news week. I think the biggest news that I've been waiting on is the news that we haven't heard anything about. Kyle, did anybody name that damn owl yet?
You know what? With the Owl Bestiality campaign run by Rebby and Matt right now, which, by the way, I've tweeted PETA and the ASPCA about, trying to get them involved with it. With this whole Owl Bestiality thing going on, I think it's kind of put the brakes on that whole contest. But hopefully we get to name the owl. And real quick, I just want to tell you, Chef, if you happen to, kick the bucket and kill yourself live on camera because of the Monday Night Raw, please make sure you plug the Heelcast just so we can get the publicity out of it, because that will do wonders for publicity numbers.
So, Chef, what do you think about the owl, man?
Is suicide not funny? I mean, I like the wrestler.
I like suicide.
I didn't mean to,
Hey, check it out. The only thing I'm going to say is I might.
Oh, look at this. He's bugging out on us, Kyle. Son of a bitch has decided that he's bugging out on us.
The only other news I think was the
Yo, Chef, you got a real lousy connection, buddy. We're gonna have to skip on you. So here's the thing, right?
No. Am I breaking up?
Yeah, you're broken up, man. You're like done, buddy.
Chef's losing his mind already, and we're not even close to Monday night yet. Because I know he's not gonna. You think Chef is gonna go this whole show without cursing that many times? No way.
Kyle, you and I both know that he's not having connectivity problems. He's just hitting the mute button every time he wants to drop the F or the N-bomb. That's why we're not hearing anything from him. Chef?
Oh, man. Chef, if they're frisking you, remember, Joseph Park is your attorney.
Yo, can y'all hear me now?
We hear you fine, man, when you want us to. Said when you're muting yourself.
Y'all can't hear me at all.
We hear you, and then we stop hearing you.
Chef has dial-up, in case anyone was wondering. He has to dial up to get on the show.
He's actually got little pixie cops with a string attached to him, and that's his connection to Skype. So look, Kyle, Noah has announced that Robbie E. and Bram are the new bromans for their Global Tag Team League 2017 tournament. It's going to run from April the 22nd to May the 4th. Now, you and I are ones that do not believe that Robbie E. and Bram are necessarily a match made in heaven. They are kind of like opposites, right? What do you think they're going to do with these two guys? I mean, this is kind of like odd.
It's really unfortunate that Chef's having bad connection, because when you talk about Bram getting paired with Robbie E., he's clearly the guy you want to hear from. But maybe it's best for him, because if he were to speak right now, he'd probably run through the whole curse thing by the end of the segment, already cementing himself for Monday Night Raw. So maybe like, the powers that be in the great land above are on his side right now, watching his back, and they messed up his connection because they didn't want him to go through with this. But I look at the new bromans. I seen that the news came out yesterday. I don't know. I have no idea what they're gonna do. So at this point,
can y'all hear me? Hey, am I here?
Oh man, Chef, are you drinking, man? Are you drunk?
Chef, are you there, man? I feel like I'm in a bad Verizon commercial. Chef, can you hear me now?
Chef got in my weed stash. I knew there was a nug missing.
Yo, can y'all hear me or you can't hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Now we can hear you. When we respond to you, we can hear you. We're down to 4. He's got 4 left.
Oh man.
He dropped 1 before he got to say anything on the show, folks. Welcome to Life with the Chef.
All right, so wait, hold on. You're telling me we're 1 down? I'm going to mark this down throughout the show. We're 1 down?
Yeah, he dropped the MFer. Yeah, he dropped the mother of all F-bombs.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's 1 for Chef. That's 1 for Chef. Now, back to what I was saying. I don't know what they're going to do with Bram and Robbie E. My guess is we're going to get that character thing where you got the all-serious guy, he doesn't laugh and party a lot. And then you got goofy Robbie E. trying to lighten him up. Maybe that's what they're going to do. But at the same time, they have to work together because they have to go to Japan together on behalf of the company. Like, I'm not totally, negative about it. Just the way I just said it now, and, I'm putting that out there, I think that would be kind of cool. But, I know some real diehard Bram fans, like Chef, probably don't want to see that at all. But, I mean, I don't know if they're going to come be a tag team for Impact. Maybe they're just getting sent, by the company to go wrestle in Japan. But at the same time, wouldn't they send one of their established tag teams? So that would throw what I just said out the window. But question mark, man. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I have an idea of it.
I mean, Kyle, I think if they're going to do something that's going to work, that's probably the way they have to go with this. But let's face it. I mean, Robbie E. and Bram are not necessarily a very good match. You've got, Bram that is still part of the DCC. How does Robbie E. fit in with all of that? What does this mean with regards to DCC and Bram's involvement in the DCC? So that's kind of an odd announcement there as well. And how do these guys form up to make a tag team anyway? To me, this is just another way to keep Bram at the bottom of the card. And I understand, we've all talked about it. There have been issues in the past with Bram and domestic violence issues and whatnot. But they're a couple years old at this point. And much like Jeff Hardy, at some point, the guy gets an opportunity to move past it. And Bram's the guy that I want to see move up the card, not move down the card. And in my opinion, anytime that you're working with Robbie E., you're moving down the card, not up it. Chef, you got anything you want to say, buddy?
Chef!
It looks
Chef!
Looks like he's taking this deal way too seriously. We'll see if Chef pops back on or not. So it looks like, Kyle, we got some more former producers returning to the company in the name of Eric Tompkins and Jamie Garcia / Jay Seaman. Tompkins.
Hold on. You know what? Let's just peel the curtain back a little.
Yeah, I just said Seaman, didn't I?
Yeah.
I just said Seaman.
Well, I will explain. Hold on. Let me just peel the curtain back a little for the listeners. Before we do these shows, we just we collect all the news, and we get the match card, and we send it to each other just so we kind of have a direction to follow throughout the show. And on one website, I saw the guy's name was Jamie Garcia, and then on another website, it said Jay Seaman. Like one of them was, I think one of them was like WrestleZone, and the other one was PW Insider.
Or it could have been Hurls.com.
It could have been Hurls.com, Jay Seaman. Hurls is actually in Orlando going to the adult film convention right now. Shout out to Hurls if he's listening. Good luck getting your 8x10 signed. I know you had a new fleshlight with your eyes on it. Hope you get that signed by your favorite porn star. But yeah, Jay Seaman or Jamie Garcia, this is a mystery. Listeners, we want you to find out, what is this guy's name? Who is he? Who is this mystery man that apparently has been with the company before? We don't really know who his name is, so put that out there. Jamie Garcia / Jay Seaman. Maybe Jay Seaman's like his cool nickname. He's got like a cool nickname.
Chef, you got anything, buddy? I can kind of hear you in the background. Chef, it's called a mute button.
Chef! Chef!
Chef! I think what we're seeing here is the return of the Jeff Jarrett, era. And I gotta throw something out there, guys, because I hear, a lot of people talking about Jeff Jarrett and a lot of the direction that Jeff Jarrett's taking the company. And, this is truly what Global Force Wrestling was supposed to be. But at some point, you just kind of have to take a step back and take a look at it from the outside looking in. And I got to be honest with you. Do you really think that Anthem came in, bought Impact Wrestling, took on all the debt of Impact Wrestling without a plan? And then just decided to hire Jeff Jarrett because he decided he was willing to do it? Do you think that they came in... we're talking about people that buy companies. This is kind of what they do. And they had a plan. It just happened to be GFW. And they just happened to call Jeff Jarrett and say, Jeff, look, this is what we want to do. And oh, by the way, who better to implement it than you? And Jeff Jarrett was just like, oh, hey, that's cool. And they only have a history of Jeff Jarrett going back to the Fight TV launch or whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, that Jeff Jarrett had something to do with Anthem, before we know about, like before the purchase, and maybe he was helping give them direction beforehand, and they just waited till an opportune time to announce his involvement? Because I don't know how Ed Nordholm, who's the CEO, right, coming in to turn things around, could possibly pitch to the folks that are writing the checks, hey, I've got a plan for this company. Here's my plan. And, well, actually, we decided to do Jeff's thing instead before we ever got started. That he's coming in and he's not saying who's going to run the company, who's going to do this, that, or the other. I don't know that I care. I don't know that anybody should care. But it strikes me as really, really odd that they're literally running Jeff Jarrett's agenda with all of Jeff Jarrett's people. And that these people that have a lot of money didn't think about this beforehand. That it all just kind of happened. That Jeff Jarrett really got off the phone and Karen said, when do you start? And he goes, I'm getting on a plane in 3 hours. I mean, Kyle, that just sounds like complete BS to me.
Yeah. Ed strikes me as the kind of guy, big businessman. I think MMA is his specialty. We all know that when you look at their business. This guy is invested in a wrestling company, at least I think, with the intention of hiring somebody to come in and run the thing. That's usually what those type of guys do. Ed is kind of a tycoon in his own right when it comes to fighting, sports / entertainment. He picked up Impact like an owl, swooped in and picked it up. And he hired Jeff Jarrett to come in because he probably figured, hey, this guy knows this company better than anybody. Look at the ratings. They were doing their best so-and-so. They peaked at so-and-so from a brand standpoint. But my thing is, it's like instead of Ed building something new, they're just rebuilding something that you can debate worked in the past. To the heart of the fans, it did, but I don't know if they ever got to accomplish what they wanted. I'd say they didn't. So this is a second chance. And you talk about Jeff coming in and bringing his people, and really, he's just rebuilding the old TNA. So it's ironic when they say TNA is dead, but it's like, no, TNA is resurrected and Impact Wrestling is dead. The show that Dixie Carter had, that she had David Lagana and a bunch of writers, at one point Billy Corgan was involved, that was Impact Wrestling. That is dead. TNA, the old TNA, is back. And it's weird how it's like TNA's dead and this is Impact now. But to me, am I wrong? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like Impact Wrestling, that show is dead. But this is what TNA was supposed to be before Jeff Jarrett left. And it's like, I'm not mad about it because let's face it, this company is Jeff's baby. This has always been Jeff's baby. Jeff created this company with his father. So if anybody's going to come back, I'd say he's the rightful person to do it.
Oh, I mean, I think that Jeff's the right guy to do it too. I think it's a great choice. I just don't buy the fact that this all happened the way it happened. I mean, to think that you're going to buy this company with no plan whatsoever is just absolutely ludicrous. And
why did Dixie Carter deny Billy Corgan when it seemed like all the talent and a lot of the fans, maybe not a good percentage of them, like Chef. We know hashtag bad booking Billy. Chef does not like Billy Corgan, but it just even like, remember when Drew cut the promo on the pay-per-view? It was like, that's why Billy Corgan's buying this place. Like, why did Dixie deny Billy Corgan from getting the reins? Was this secretly planned? Was this in motion for a long time? Was this in motion since Jeff Jarrett came in 2015 and did the GFW invasion? It's just kind of weird. When you think about it, this could have been conspired over time. Ed was the funder. Ed is Jeff's personal piggy bank that was going to step in, put the money, give Jeff his company back, and just take off from where they left off.
I mean, it could be. Remember, there's a couple other things at play here. First of all, Aeroluge was and is still a partner, right? It's just
where
that
are the Harris brothers? What's up with them? Are they still involved?
They're probably working with production. Aeroluge is producing the show, and they have an equity to produce the show, but it is ultimately being majority owned by Anthem.
But Jeff's producers are coming in now. These guys are getting their jobs probably replaced.
Well, yeah, but there's. I'm talking about like the technical production of the show.
It's such a big business, and we're just the outside looking.
Yeah,
we don't even really know.
That's one guess. The other guess is, and I said this on the show a couple times. Look, I was a Billy Corgan guy. I wanted Billy to stay because I thought he was on a roll with things, right? And the talent did like him. At the same point, you kind of have to put yourself in Dixie's position. Whether or not Impact is Jeff's baby, it was Dixie's baby too.
Yeah,
and she wants to see it be successful.
I'm not a Dixie hater.
No. She wanted to see it be successful. And if she felt like Anthem had more money and had the ability to get more outlets for the company in terms of television deals and whatnot than what Billy could, then ultimately it's in the best interest of the company long term, which makes it in the best interest of the talent. And obviously her, if she maintains some sort of a minority, stake. So sometimes, it's not necessarily the popular move, which investor you're going to choose, but it is kind of the maybe better overall business move. And that's why when we were going back with the, Billy versus Aeroluge / Anthem, thing, I was kind of careful to say the long-term interest of the company could be better off with Anthem. But that, guys, is just... Like what do I know? I don't know exactly how much money Anthem or Billy are willing to put into it, and what the who Billy doesn't know in the industry to get TV deals either. So it's not fair.
Billy, he's a successful artist and musician, but what does he know about actually running a business? He probably had a strong creative vision, and we saw that. But in Dixie's shoes, I'm gonna pick the well-oiled machine with financial stability over this one musician with all of these creative ideas. I think Billy should have been left in the creative room, but I think he got big for his britches, and he went for the takeover, and everything blew up in his face, and we had to sit on the podcast and talk about it.
Yeah, it could be. So
these are all theories. This is all theory.
That's really literally like all that it is. So, but it's still worth talking about. I just think that this whole Anthem thing wasn't quite as went down the way we all think it went down. But speaking of things that are going down, they are moving forward, and let's face it, they are moving fast forward. We got Jeff Jarrett, Impact Wrestling are now affiliated with the returning World of Sport reboot on ITV in the UK. We're talking, Kyle, a 10 episode series to start. Hope to take it more. Apparently, ITV is pretty big in the UK, from what I understand.
Oh yeah. They're one of the biggest networks. Basically, like, if I'm not wrong, I would say ITV is the equivalent of like a Fox 5 over in the UK.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh no, they're big time. They're big time.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Now, I just want to let you know I am working to get Chef back on. We did actually lose Chef, but we're trying to get him back on. Speaking of losing people, John Gaburik's assistant, Catherine Kasky, has left the company. Catherine was his executive assistant for a number of years. Seems like a real good gal. Follows me on Twitter, likes stuff all the time. Just seems like, an overall quality girl. So we're gonna wish her the best in whatever her future endeavors are. We got Karen Jarrett.
I think this says, hold on there. I think this says a lot about the demotion of John Gaborik. His assistant just left. You've heard he got pushed down. He's not head of creative anymore. I think his assistant leaving is a big statement as of to his future with the company.
Oh, I think so as well. I would just, look, if she's working hard and she's doing a job, it would be nice to see her, step into another role. I hear some snorting in the background. Chef, are you back on, buddy?
Yo, dude, I'm trying to get on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. We hear the snorting going on.
Chef, are you doing that 2016 Rockstar Spud stuff again?
Yo, dude, I'm trying to get high like a motherfucker out here. I'm just trying to make a sound.
No,
You know what I
know
mean?
what happened. I know what happened. Chef hung
that's
himself
two. That's two.
Chef hung up the phone and he ran into his room and was just like, fuck. Like he had to curse a million times to get it off his chest. And then he came back on just now. He feels satisfied, but apparently not because he's cursing again.
I mean,
Yo,
Chef,
you have no idea how many cursing I've been to.
Two.
I've been walking around this community bugging out, bro.
2 curses so far. Let it be known,
All right.
Chef. You got 2 strikes. You got 3 left. And I think you're getting ready for Monday Night Raw. You might even stick around for Total Divas at this rate.
Hold up. So I just connected back on. So that means it's still like I can't get rid of the other one because that was a drop.
No, you don't get a clean slate.
No, it's this version of the Heelcast. If anything, we need to back up and make you talk about freaking Bram so we can get you to get a couple more out of you. So what do you think about Bram and his new tag team partner? I hear Robbie E is going to be carrying the load.
Let's not get crazy here.
Now we're just trying to screw Chef over.
Damn right we are. That's what we do.
Listen, all I'm going to say about that is as long as my guy's not fucking fist pumping.
Oh, 3!
That's 3 curses. We didn't even get through the news to the episode, and that's 3 curses so far. This guy's been gone half this part. He's been gone, and he's already dropped 3. I'm going crazy like Don Weston here tonight.
But I mean, I'm set up for failure on that. You know what I mean? There's no way that I could not drop an F-bomb while I talk about that shit because it's the... Yo, listen.
Okay,
like I said,
all right. How about this? It was 3, but we'll drop this one and leave it at 2 because it's the Bram segment, and we knew what you were going to do. So right now you're at 2. I'll drop 1, but you're at 2. Good luck, Chef. Good luck.
Dude, Chef, you're not getting out of this. You're not getting out of this. I mean, you're watching Raw. You're going to be a Raw reviewer.
Listen, I appreciate the mulligan. I don't mess with no John Cena. Let's not get crazy. Like, if I got to do this, the only guy I like is Bray Wyatt. You know what I mean? So I'm
He's
probably
on
going to go
SmackDown.
back.
Sorry, Chef. He's on SmackDown. You're watching Raw.
What? He's on SmackDown?
He's on SmackDown, and that's a 2-hour show. You didn't get signed up for that one. You're watching Raw, the John Cena show, the 3-hour
You got-
one.
Do, 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 do.
I'm watching Roman Reigns.
Roman, Cena. Hey, man, you'll see Goldberg. He bring you back to your WCW days.
Yeah, the one guy did not like in WCW. Oh my God! Whatever. Next.
Chef's gonna tune into
All
the
right.
show on Monday night, and it's gonna open up with Matt coming back to WWE with Broken Brilliance. That's what Chef's gonna get for 3 hours. It's gonna be like the worst. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
So in other news,
You
we
guys
have
are
Karen. I'm sorry, did I hear an F-bomb just get cut out? So Karen Jarrett. Oh, okay. Well, you're allowed to call us assholes. Everybody else does. I don't see why you should be any different. So, in other news, Karen Jarrett releases a promo responding to Conan about his claims of the titles. Many believe this is leading up to a Crash versus Impact one-night-only pay-per-view. Chef, would you like to see Crash versus Impact one-night-only pay-per-view?
If they do it right, if they let it be more of a Crash instead of what we see at the Impact Zone, then absolutely. Because let it be something we have not seen. It'll probably be a one night only or whatever. So and listen, I have no problem with Karen, but I don't want to see her do the whole screaming up a storm thing because it annoys the shit out of me quick. So let Conan be the face of it. Let him go crazy with his, his lingo. I'm trying not to curse right now. So just let him go ham and let's have some real street, let it be one of those old school, aggressive, I'm going to whoop your ass type shit. And that's what I'm looking for. And it's really hard not to say what I want to say right now.
I'll be honest with you. I understand that they're going to have Impact cameras at a Crash show coming up. Kyle, have you heard that? I mean, this would lead to it's going to be, at the Crash show, which means that Chef, it would be that style show, right?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, just give us something different. You know what I mean? Let's not have another one night only with the same kind of thing. Let it be different. You know what I mean? Even if we have it at Crash, you know what I mean? I don't care where it is. Let's just have it. Let's have it popping off. Let's go different. You know what I mean? I'm all for touring. I want them back. It grow. You know what I mean? So if they have at Crash, I think one night only would even look even cooler.
Damn, Kyle, how's that bone going, man? I hear that thing in the background. Jeez.
Oh man, you know what? I was testing it out and I totally thought I muted it. I'm the asshole. I'm just schlepping it up tonight. I thought I hit the mute button. I was testing out some bombs. I was waiting for Chef to curse because I thought it was going to be any second, but I totally forgot to mute. Oh man, I'm off my game.
So guys, the show opens up and we get Davey Richards with Angelina Love versus Suicide. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. I love this match. It was so nice to see Davey come out as the heel. He is a great heel. I mean, he's really got a nasty streak to him. And he's got that nasty heel streak. But guys, he's wrestling as an X Division talent in this. And it was just... This is probably the first time in a really, really, really long time that I've actually seen an X Division match where... the heel was really acting like a heel, and they were really actually building for something. Chef, what was your take on this match? To me, this was almost breaking new ground for the X Division. Looks like Chef's muted himself one more time, Kyle, so why don't you jump on instead?
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's no secret. I've never been a huge Wolves guy.
Chef?
Yo, can y'all hear me or am I done?
Chef, we hear you, buddy. We hear you. All we heard was that you're not a big Wolves guy. Chef? Ah, well, screw him.
This guy, Chef, really wants to watch Monday Night Raw.
I know. We should say if he drops off 5 times, he has to watch Raw. Change the whole damn thing on him. He won't even know he's not listening.
I'm about to drop bombs on every time he drops off. Like a half a bomb. Little M80.
We'll just edit in some F-bombs afterwards to get him over the limit and be done with it. It's that
Screw him
simple.
over.
That's right. Screw him over. So seriously, Kyle, what was your take on Davey Richards versus Suicide?
Oh, man. Like you said, really cool to see Davey work more of that X Division type style. And Suicide, oh, man. Suicide was killing it. I love the, it's like a fireman's carry, like, flip over, and then he like catches it with the lion salt. You know what I mean? Remember that one part? Just great X Division action, but it's cool to see Davey. Like Davey's looking dominant. You know, like to me, it's like Davey's showing like, oh yeah, I can do this style. Next week he's probably gonna rip through somebody else. I don't know when they're gonna pull the trigger on on one more big match between him and Eddie, or multiple. I don't know if they're going to slow burn. I don't know what they're going to do at this point. But this match between Davey Richards and Suicide, what a way to kick off the show and get everyone hyped.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Davey was looking very main event-ish. You know what I mean? And to me, it was main event worthy. You know, his performance was main event worthy, yet it was in an X Division match. It was a great and absolutely fantastic way to open up the show. Very, very, very exciting. So it looks like, unfortunately, Kyle, we did now just lose Chef. He indeed decided he was not going to hang with us tonight. That he's apologizing for dropping on and off. Didn't want to hurt the podcast, but I think he's just worried about them F-bombs. I think we really took him off his game tonight with the F-bomb thing.
Wait, are you telling me he's dropped off and not coming back on? Now he's gone?
That's the message that I just got.
What did he say?
Well, he actually did drop an F-bomb. Bro, you're rocking out. My apologies. Shit ain't working now. Not trying to fuck the podcast up. So there's an F-bomb. Right now I feel like tossing this fucking phone on the fucking floor. So there's 3. Fucking pissed, bro. So that's 4 on top of his 2. I think that gets him to 6.
You know, it's funny because I had this cool sound effect ready for next time Chef, ignored us. I was going to hit him with the crickets chirping. Now he's gone. So, Chef, I want you to know, when you're listening to this, you're not just getting away from the Raw challenge. You know what? How about this? When this episode comes out, we'll have the listeners vote in the comment box if you want Chef to watch Raw or SmackDown, because maybe we'll cut Chef a deal. It's 2 hours. He can get to see Bray Wyatt. Still has to get tortured. But then again, I don't know. Should he watch Raw, especially for the shenanigans he's pulled on us tonight?
And I personally, I'd make him watch Raw.
Yeah,
I'd make him watch the.
Take that back. Sorry, buddy. You're going to watch Monday Night Raw. And I'm not even doubting that you're going to come back and pass the cursing challenge, because you can't. You proved to us tonight, Chef, you couldn't go a sentence without dropping the F-bomb.
So
no
Kyle,
F-bombs, though. Good for that.
I have a Heelcast exclusive. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news from Chef. Fuck. I know. He starts out with fucks. There's the 5th one right there, folks. Let the fans know it's a Raw time. That's what he says. So here's the thing, and we're not going to tell him this. We're going to make him listen to the show to hear this, Kyle. I think if he does the Raw show, if he goes live, I think we let him host anyway. I think if he's man enough, if he's sport enough to do it, then he should be rewarded. He should get to host the Heelcast Mafia style. What do you think?
What if we make him do a Monday Night Raw podcast?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could broadcast
a 2-hour
it.
Time limit. Hey, you got to talk about Raw for 2 hours. It was a 3-hour show. We're
I think
cutting
we
you
should
a deal.
What about if just send him Facebook Live, Periscope, put him on YouTube channel or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea. I wanted him to live stream himself watching the show. I was going to contact his family members and get them involved in it, I didn't want him to get out by any means. And I don't know if he has work that night, but I've already looked into other ways. Like, I'm going to record the episode or get it downloaded or something. So no matter what, he has to do this 3-hour Raw challenge. But he thinks he got away scot-free this time, but he's not. Next time
he's not.
He's going to have to deal with it.
No,
he's deal with us someday, Chef.
He's Chef's willing to do the Raw thing. He's in. He's in.
He's in.
No, he's in. No, he says, fuck, let the fans know it's a Raw time. He's on it. And he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm doing it.
You're right. How about Chef can do the Raw challenge, and just like you said, we'll let him host a show just for surviving that. If he survives, that's the question.
Well, he has to survive. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I've been trying to get the Mafia's first lady on too, so maybe he can convince her to come on and help him out and keep it real. It is. I think he can do whatever he wants. They're going to put a little PG warning. This is not Raw, so this is not PG, and here we go.
Maybe get his parole officer on the show too.
That's right. Now, Kyle, speaking of parole officers, why do I have a feeling that Laurel Van Ness is going to need one pretty soon? I mean, this chick is a drunkard's drunk. She belongs on the Heelcast, man. She's like still wearing her wedding attire, talking to Mackenzie Mitchell, can't get her name right? And she says she's going to be fine. But here's the thing that I thought was really kind of cool, right? They kept talking about Maria. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Maria kept coming up. Am I just getting excited here that maybe there's some sort of a hint that Maria, who remains unsigned, as does Mike Bennett, nearest I can tell, could possibly come back? I mean, why would they talk about her? Do you think it'd just be done with her?
Well, I mean, you could look at it two ways. Are they hinting towards that, or are they just writing her in there for the sake of writing her in there because they don't really know how to explain how she walked from the company? There's two ways to look at it. However, I just want to throw it out there that if things keep going this way with Laurel Van Ness, she's going to end up in a padded room in a straitjacket, the same place where Chef's going to be by the second hour of Monday Night Raw.
Well, all I'm saying is that I don't want to be in that room with Chef, but I don't think I'd mind being in that room with Laurel Van Ness, if you know what I'm saying.
Even like a month without a shower in that dirty wedding dress?
Yeah, I don't think
down the face?
I don't think it would bother me much, man. Yeah, no.
She looks like she smells like dog shit, dude.
I'd send Hurls in there first. He'd hose her down for sure.
Hurl's that pervert to give her a sponge bath.
That's right.
You just got to give him your Brazzers account or something.
So then we get a
There it is.
So we get our Toka International match for the evening with Idris Abraham, I guess is his name, Mario Baccara, Falaba, Mahabali Shera, Laredo Kid, and Garza Jr. And I got to tell you, this is vintage Jeff Jarrett Impact right here. I mean, this match I saw this and I'm like, yeah, this is just a fun match with a bunch of guys kind of almost randomly coming up, doing some cool things. They all got gimmicks. They're all from different parts of the world or whatnot. Kyle, to me, this is vintage Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're seeing this guy's fingerprints all over the show. And this is a great example. And what's so special about this one for me is Falaba and Mario Borca. I'm not sure how you say it. Impact, by the way, changed both of their names. Mario Baccara. Impact changed both their names, by the way, like by a letter. Like Falaba is going to be Falabala. And they just changed Mario's last name by a letter. I think they changed the O to an A or something like that. But what's so great about this is these are two wrestlers that I've seen on the independents. They both of them were huge in this company called PWS, which is they run some big autograph conventions / spot shows over by me. And they're one of those indie promotions that they hire a bunch of legends, bunch of, like I say, has-beens, but just, older talent, and then they mix it in with all their young guys. And two of their shining stars were both of these guys you saw on the TV screen. And, Mario's great, but I was a Falaba fan from the second I saw him. this guy reminds me of Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow. He's got that old school, larger than life feel to him, and he can move in the ring just like we saw. Oh man, I felt bad for the guy when he hit that crossbody. So that was one of the few times I actually enjoyed Josh Matthews' commentary when he said we're going to need a spatula to scrape that guy up.
Yeah, that actually was good. Josh had a couple decent lines this week.
You know what, man? I want to just say this. I was thinking it in a heel role. Josh drops some pretty funny one-liners, and it's just like he probably should have been this guy from the first day he stepped foot in the company because he held them back in his regular role for so long. But I can't help but think in the past few episodes, Josh has been dropping some funny lines.
Yeah, it's funny because Josh has been pretty much awful during this entire stint with Impact, and now there's this whole deal where they're bringing in JB and the rest of the stuff, and now all of a sudden Josh is stepping up. Josh is freaking nailing it.
his job's on the line. He's like, oh shit, I got to start actually working around here.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's been nailing it, and so if we're gonna give him crap, we ought to give him some props too. He definitely nailed it, and I guess we'll get to talk about him a little bit more later as well. But to me, this match, it was the Toka International match, but you know what? It was cool. It was fun. It was different, and I think that's what people are looking for. The next thing you know, here come Reno Scum. Now, I gotta tell you, these guys don't seem terribly interesting from the get-go, but I'm gonna tell you this much: I love their entrance music, man. I just love their entrance music, and that Oi thing, I think it's eventually gonna catch on, but I gotta tell you, Kyle, I hope it's sooner than later, because when Thornstone does it by himself, it's about the most annoying thing in the entire damn show.
Oi, oi, oi?
Yeah, Thornstone was in the ring, and he was doing oi, 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 and nobody was saying it back from the crowd. And it was just god-awful.
Hey, man, they need some time. They got to get it over with the people. For those unfamiliar with the culture, oi, oi, oi is like the battle cry amongst punk rockers. Growing up in my teenage years, I was definitely a punk rock kid for a few years. Looking back, I was probably just a poser. But I had a leather jacket just like these two. Me and my friends used to say, oi, oi, oi. We had a lot of, they got band patches on their jacket that I actually had back in the day. It was a Rancid. You ever hear the band Rancid? He had like a Rancid patch on his jacket, and I had the same exact one. But just like saying, I like this because they're catering to certain demographics. Like LAX comes in, that's for people like Chef. You get Reno Scum in, that's for the punks. Decay is, for your resident goth school shooter. They got something for everybody, and it's pretty cool. And I think they're just going to keep progressing. But I'm on board with Reno Scum, man. I'm a Reno Scum fan, and I love that double stomp. That is a brutal finisher. That was wicked. No, they're definitely growing on me pretty quick. I love the finisher was fantastic. Rosemary taking out Steve with the miss. Then they throw her out of the ring. It's always great to see my sis get thrown over the top rope. It's always great to see some man-on-woman violence in wrestling. We don't get enough of that.
Exactly.
Violence.
That shit's always awesome. So, no, I liked it, and I'm really liking Reno Scum here. I just would like to see the Decay and the DCC maybe be, a little bit stronger build. They just seem to be getting their crap kicked out of them to push some of these others over.
That's the pattern of the whole show. A lot of the established talent is taking a backseat to Jeff's guys, and we can't ignore that because at first I was like, no, people are no. But then by the second time around, second episode, I was like, oh, wait. It's like they're making a statement, and I just hope that they're not doing anything to the Decay. You gotta make your new guys look strong, and I had no problem when LAX came in and creamed them because LAX was making their debut. But then when you see them continue to lose to the other new tag teams, it's like, I don't know. But at the same time, Abyss is on the creative team. That's been a thing we've been hearing. I'd like to say that the Decay is safe, but I am a little worried. And this is the Heelcast. Anybody who listens to the Heelcast knows basically everybody on the show is a huge Decay mark. So, Impact gods, please don't mess with our Decay. Please.
I get that they've got to build Reno Scum and LAX, and I get that they're trying to have a tournament, and the only way to build them is for them to build people that we're interested in, right?
Hey, who to prove them? You're going to put them against your strongest teams,
right? And they have to go over at some point. It's just that it's a lot in a hurry. So maybe with this tournament this coming week, maybe we'll see something something out of that. But I really don't like to see some of the existing talent get completely buried, because then they mean nothing anymore, right? So,
and I'm saying it right now, no matter what, and I haven't read any spoilers, but I'm just predicting it. No matter what, one of the new tag teams is going to win this tournament. It's not going to be one of the established ones. No way. They're putting these belts on one of the new teams.
Oh, God, I sure hope it's Decay. I just want it to be Decay, but I mean, honestly, I think you look at it and it's got to be headed towards LAX. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, especially with what we're talking about with Conan, and I'm coming for those tag titles and everything else. But, God, I just want to see it be Decay. Now, you mentioned before about, different musical groups or whatnot. Do you think they're going to bring a greaser in for a Raven Effect? Because I understand he's the Frankie Avalon concert this weekend.
Frankie Avalon.
Yeah, apparently he's a beauty school dropout, and so he's the Frankie Avalon concert. So, anyway, I guess then we'll have to get a review of that when he's next on. Now, the next thing that we go to from here is, we had Bruce Pritchard sitting down with Bobby Lashley. And Kyle, they went all through Lashley's amateur and professional wrestling career. And I got to tell you, just this past week, I'm driving down the road in my car, I'm thinking about Lashley. And I'm thinking,
whoa, you're driving, you're thinking about Bobby Lashley?
Well, look, I'm not Hurls, all right? So I got both hands on the steering wheel, and neither one of them sticky. But I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking about Bobby Lashley. I'm thinking about how dominant the guy is. I'm thinking he didn't look like $1 million. He looks like $2 million, right?
Star. This guy is a star. And I will go as far as saying, like, right now, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody else, but he is their number one star, and he's been in that role. And now, especially that the Hardys are gone, there's even more focus. Like, he is the star.
And you know what? He is a star. But the thing about him has always been, he's hard to invest in. And he's hard to invest in because you don't really know anything about him. He doesn't really come out and get beat up for you to feel for him. You see what I'm saying? So, what do they do the very next week? It's always my complaint about Lashley. He's just hard to invest in as a viewer. Like, do I really care if he wins or loses? He's awesome, but do I really care? And they start to talk to you about how he went into the bank, got shot, didn't get to go to the Olympics after 3.5 years of training, right when he was on the cusp of really being that greatness, and how he had to overcome it. Oh my God, Kyle. Not that Lashley wasn't a star before, because he was. This is the thing that people now go, we can root for Bobby Lashley, good, bad, or otherwise. We can root for this guy and get behind him. To me, this particular segment, Kyle, was the most important segment on the show, most important segment they've done in a long time, and I was just completely miffed after watching it, why it never happened before.
You make such a great point. One thing about Bobby Lashley is, aside from being super athletic machine, you never got too invested in him because he's always lacked character. His character is he's an athletic machine. But this is pro wrestling. And with these interviews, I never heard the story that he got shot. I never knew that. And also, I got to throw in there, I think Bruce Pritchard is, like, perfect for these. Like, I've seen some pretty bad interviews get conducted. Bruce Pritchard, the guy's podcast numbers speak for themselves. This guy can talk. And they made me view Bobby Lashley completely differently by the end of this episode. What they did is something that should have happened in 2006 when he was working in the Connecticut outfit.
Abso-frickin-lutely. Now, there's some Fury Unleashed promo. What's that all about?
We have
no idea. No idea what that is. The only thing we know is that it's coming. And speaking of coming, Cody Rhodes comes to Impact wearing Kyle. What was he wearing?
Bullet Club for life.
So-
Down. The marks were Bullet Club.
That was Hurls.
They were marking out, man. I've always cracked my jokes. I'm not the biggest Bullet Club guy. Nothing against them. It's cool. They do their thing, but I'm just not a big Japanese wrestling fan. So I don't watch too much Ring of Honor. I respect Ring of Honor, but so I'm not really too into this. And I think they're cool. It's a new age NWO type group. But my criticism was always the fans of the Bullet Club, because I would meet these kids at wrestling shows that would buy these T-shirts just to fit in and have no idea what they were wearing. So my criticism of the Bullet Club was always just the fans, because it's just for that sheep, the same type of fan that goes on the internet and says, TNA sucks, without ever watching it. But, dude, the Bullet Club logo on Impact Television, and actually, Mr. Salty Matt Hardy, because, that's all him and Rebby do lately is just complain about Impact on Twitter. He took it to Twitter and said, well, I don't think New Japan or Ring of Honor would appreciate their intellectual property being on Impact TV. How do you feel about that?
I'm kind of not really going to worry too much about what Matt and Rebby are saying on Twitter. I really haven't had an opportunity to talk about those too much on it. To be honest with you, I think it's kind of lowbrow, but here's the thing. If it hadn't been for the fact that Impact sued Ring of Honor and had them taken off Dish Network, if that hadn't happened, and I have no reason to believe that didn't happen, right? I would really be wondering, if there wasn't a bigger plan at play here. I'm not convinced we've seen the last of the Hardys in Impact Wrestling. It's wrestling, never say never. I don't necessarily believe that there's necessarily a plan to bring them back right away. But why on earth would you sue Ring of Honor 1 week and then promote their top faction the next week? It's effectively what happened, right? I mean, it was a couple TV episodes, but in terms of the timing of it, it was a week later.
You know what? If it wasn't something that originated and, in my opinion, is more associated with New Japan, and it was strictly like a Ring of Honor faction strictly, I don't think they would do it. But they just can't deny the underground buzz and popularity of this Bullet Club thing, and I think it's just them just saying hey, we're cool, we're cool, we're relevant too. At least me. That's what I think.
I mean, look, I like the guys that are in the Bullet Club, right?
Yeah.
I love the Bucks. I love Adam Cole. I think those guys are great. I watch Ring of Honor. I'm not flipping the channel and saying bad things when I see them come up. But here's what I am going to say. I'm an NWA guy. Look, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm fairly sure if I went back in my closet right now, I'd find an NWO t-shirt. All these years later. Says a lot about my wardrobe, I suppose.
But now, hold on a second. I don't know how old you are. I don't know how old you were during the WCW years. But real quick, not to put us on a tangent out of a category, but real quick, which era of NWO were you talking about? Because I know there were many, many incarnations.
Oh, there were really two. I mean, there was the original NWO, and then there was the Wolfpack, right? And then yeah, I suppose it got watered down, but I'm talking about the original. I'm talking about Hogan. I'm talking about Nash and Hall, and I'm talking when they came out, right? And I was an NWO guy, and the NWO was too sweet. They were for life. All this crap that they're doing in the Bullet Club isn't even a cheap ripoff of the NWO. It's a forgery of the NWO. I mean, there have been so many factions over the years that have tried to replicate the NWO, tried to replicate the Four Horsemen, right? I mean, you're going to talk about factions. How can you forget the Four Horsemen? And none have ever actually come to that level, except maybe the Aces and Eights. But that's a different story. Different story, completely, right. But these guys are, I mean, if ever there was a complete ripoff, that's what they are. So to me, it really, if they just did a couple things differently, didn't do the too sweet, didn't do the, the rest of the crap that they're doing, they could really have something there. So, I mean, I don't know. I like the guys that are in it, so I kind of look past it, I guess. At the same point, them letting him do that kind of makes you wonder if at some point he isn't going to bring some of his buddies over. And if there isn't going to be some sort of a talent exchange or whatnot. And maybe that was the plan. Maybe there's something's on hold with what happened with the Hardys. But the Hardys aren't in ROH for the long run. They're only there for a short period. Right? Who knows where they're going to wind up after that? Are they going to WWE?
After all this fuck the owl stuff, you think there's a chance they would come back after all of this?
I think it's professional wrestling. I'm not calling this a work, and I want to be real clear about that. I don't want anybody to go out and say that I'm saying this is a work, because there's no way that Anthem would allow that, right? That's too much for a company like that. But if the Hardys showed up in Impact Wrestling on a live show and said they're there for their titles back, what do you think it would do for Impact?
Oh man, it would blow the roof off the place.
It would blow the roof off the place, and if it blows the roof off the place, do you think that for a guy that's got three generations of promoter in his family, do you think he'd be willing to do it?
I just think it's wishful thinking. I right now I don't see that happening. And
I didn't say I did see it happen. I would say never though. I would never say never, and I would leave it at that. This is not wishful thinking. I'm not claiming it's going to happen in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that anybody that thinks that it's completely over, ask yourself that question. What would it do for ratings? And we have seen all kinds of crazy stuff happen in professional wrestling for ratings. So they can say whatever they want to say, but if they showed back up and they did it right, everybody makes money. And that's the only thing that matters in professional wrestling is, are we making money? It's still lowbrow, and I'm not buying anything that they're doing. I think it's a bunch of garbage, for the record. That I will say.
Actually, real quick, this actually should have been mentioned in the news, because just since we're on it right now, and then we'll move back to the episode. Rebby on Snapchat tonight put up a video. Actually, it was a picture of a video. She was editing a video in Final Cut, and it was the Hardys standing there in front of maybe even the the Lake of Reincarnation. Like, they were standing in front of a body of water holding up the Impact titles. And I remember the week after all this first happened, it was mentioned on Busted Open Radio. She said, we filmed something with those belts. A few times since then, I heard Matt say, you will find out the fate of these belts very soon. And basically, from what I saw, they're editing a video, and they're going to put out a video of them. They filmed a video of them doing something to the belts right before Goodman Helms went and picked up the titles on Impact's behalf. So we're going to see a video probably this week of the Hardys throwing the belts into water or something like that. And it's so stupid. Who's getting anything out of this? It screws the fans, it screws the locker room, but it just has the Hardys sell more T-shirts. And it's like, and they won't shut up with, they keep putting it all over Twitter, especially when Rebby says, I'm going to get a legal representative and I'm not going to talk about this anymore. And then after that, she just kept piling on and piling on more. And it's like that when you break up with the girl and she keeps messaging you over and over, calling you like that bitter ex that won't just get over it. What's going on right now, and it seems like it keeps getting worse and worse. It's just like, the fans don't need this. Wrestling doesn't need this. And it was at the worst time possible for Impact. I'm going to be straight up. All this happened at the worst possible time.
Yeah, I'll say this, though, that every time that they tweet about it, people are paying attention to Impact, too.
The ratings went up. The ratings went up.
I know.
The ratings went up.
Uh-huh. You got it. But anyway, the bottom line is, yeah, it's all really freaking ridiculous. And there are too many things in it to say there's any chance at all that it's some sort of a wishful thinking, hoax, and that it's a work, because it's not. But I will just say, it's professional wrestling. If you can make money, you do it. So
never say never.
Never say never, and that's all I'm saying here. Now, I'll tell you, that the Bullet Club thing really, I didn't understand that one though. Who knows? Who knows what's going on there? It would be kind of neat to see some shows of the two companies, but the chances of that happening, like I said, Kyle, are also next to nothing. My guess is more than anything else that they told Cody that, look, we're going to take you, you're going to be an independent guy, and you can wear whatever you want to the ring, promote whatever you want, and this is how his deal works. That's my guess. Bullet Club is just a part of Cody's deal.
Well, I feel like across the board we're getting like a territory feel to the show. Like, think of because guys are coming on the show wearing their belts from other companies, not just GFW. You saw the Future Stars of Wrestling belts. Reno Scum brought their belts. Mario and Fala brought their belts. It's like Cody's passing through the territory and letting us know, he that shirt is just telling you he does do other things outside of this part of the universe. It's like I'm getting a real territory feel from that. They're showing other belts on TV and they're just acknowledging outside things. You're seeing the guys go to Noah in Japan. Now you're going to see guys go to Mexico. It's really cool. I think it's just such a cool feeling to instead of for so long pretending this is wrestling, nothing else happens outside of this company. They're opening those doors and just, it's really cool.
Yeah, and part of that is LAX, right? And much like what we saw with, the last previous match with Reno Scum beating Decay, LAX, they go over on the DCC. And, of course, you wind up with Storm and, Kingston almost coming to blows. And somehow, and I'll never understand this, Bram winds up being the guy who is the mediator. And, Josh Matthews, again, Josh is kind of on point this week. If Bram's the coolest head, you've got issues because Bram's a hothead. Short of this kind of building up LAX, Kyle, did you see much in this match?
Oh, my God. Dude, LAX, man. All I got to say, LAX.
Yeah, they're definitely, we can't really gloss over that too much. They are on fire. They've got a lot of momentum behind them. They're doing a fantastic job, and they're really tearing up the Impact Zone. I think that's probably all you need to say there.
You know who really shined in this match? Not them. James Storm. This guy, every time he's out there, I've never been a super James Storm mark. I've never bought any of his T-shirts, but I've always appreciated this guy's work rate in the ring, and this match is just another example. James Storm, he's if he's not the guy, he's one of them.
And I've always been that James Storm mark, but I gotta be honest with you, the DCC, they're supposed to be kind of tweeners, but really more bad guys and good guys. James Storm was really wrestling as a face in this match.
Oh, yeah.
He was pure face in this match, and I haven't seen anything about the DCC that makes me think that they're faces. I mean, obviously they have identity issues, and they're supposed to be tweeners, but...
And they don't win matches a lot.
No. But, speaking of people that we don't see a lot at all, ODB is back. Oh, she's wrestling Rebel. Yeah, okay, it was a kind of nice to see him back match. It wasn't anything spectacular or whatnot, but I will say that
this was a match just to see Earl Hebner be a dirty old man. And
exactly.
That was the whole point of this match.
And it worked. I mean, Earl Hebner was awesome, and it's good to see Earl actually get a little bit of, a little bit of time himself.
I loved it. And you know what? I saw a lot of backlash, even from Impact fans on Twitter. I'm not going to put any names out there, but you could see on my Twitter, I did have an exchange with somebody. Not heated, just they just threw in that it was unnecessary and they didn't want that in the episode. But it was entertaining. It was funny, it's Hebner, man. I love when you see Hebner show that personality, whether he's giving the 2-finger salute or putting himself onto the women, whatever. I mean, it was funny, man. That was the point of this. This wasn't about ODB or Rebel. This was about Earl. This was just giving Earl the rub.
And you know what? Earl needs a rub every now and again.
He actually just signed recently. I saw an interview with him. He just re-signed with Impact for 2 years, so he's got 2 more years, and in 2 years he will be turning 70, and he said he's going to call it quits and walk away. So it's great to see him end his career with Impact, because I'd like, even though he's a legend from his years in the WWF, at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, Impact gave him a home, and we just, as fans, we really love our Earl Hebner. And
Yeah,
Brian.
Earl. And Brian, and Earl's brother, too, right? He's a twin brother that was a wrestler as well, or was also a ref.
Yeah, Dave Hebner, I don't think he was ever part of Impact. I think he was just a WWF guy, but we love our Hebners. Moving on.
That's right, exactly. And speaking of moving on, not much to talk about here. Bobby Lashley defeats some guy named Jake Holmes, who somehow gets some sort of a match with the world champion. And this was a beatdown. It was like, Kyle, they just wanted to make sure that we were reminded of Lashley's greatness in this particular episode. And that's about all there is to say. That it's like,
you know what,
Jeff
Jarrett, more of his fingerprints. We keep talking about his fingerprints. I think in all of the Jarrett years, you always got squash matches. You know, he the show and make your talent look good. I like when they throw squash matches on the show. You can't talk about this company in squash matches without giving a shout out to Buck Quartermain. Only our obscure Impact fans are gonna pop for that reference I just dropped. But it's great to see squash matches come back into the fold.
I agree, actually. I agree completely. I like the squash match. I would like to see the squash matches, though, maybe give to some of the new talent as opposed to the world champion. The world champion could squash somebody that's been around for a while.
Hey, it's just a reminder. This is the big dog. Not quoting Alberto, but this is the big dog.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then, of course, we did reveal who the big dog was. She, of course, is now well known to be none other than Karen Jarrett. So this
much
is...
to FK9's dismay.
I know. But now this marks the second time in as many weeks that the main event was really more of about a return, right? Than it really was a match. So we're starting to see that, in that last quarter hour, they're doing things outside of a big main event match. And it'll be interesting to see how the ratings all turn out when everything comes out, because we didn't really have that main event to look forward to for the show. Just who is she? And was that enough to get people to tune in for it? So what are your take on this Karen Jarrett return, Kyle? I mean, I thought that it was an outstanding segment. I thought it was great.
It was a good segment. Anybody who listens to these shows knows that, I'm not a negative guy. I'm very, very optimistic. I'm not a complainer. I'm not a nitpicker. For the most part, I'm very happy-go-lucky. I just love my Impact. I'm never too critical. I don't overanalyze things. That's just not me. And anyone who listens knows that. But I got to admit, I was a little worried when I started reading rumors about Karen Jarrett. And I get it. She's married to Jeff, and Jeff's calling the shots now. And it's like, Jeff, I want to be on TV. I get it. And it's just like, I don't think they need her, though. It's just too hokey and cliche to bring her on as the heel authority figure. But in this case, she's a babyface. She's not a heel at all. But that slap, man, that slap, it's just so Stephanie McMahon. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be optimistic for it because I don't like to judge anything at the very, very beginning. I'm going to let it play out and see what they do with Karen. We saw by that Crash promo, and this segment was another just thing to lead you believe she is going to be like the authority figure of the company. But can I ask you a question, brother _? Can I ask you a question right now?
Absolutely.
Where's Jeff? Why haven't we seen him on the TV yet?
I don't know. It's a good question. I keep looking for him in the crowd.
No, I said Jeff, not Chef.
Oh! You said Chef.
No.
Because I haven't
man.
seen Chef in a couple weeks of the show, man. It's kind of like, where's Chef? Where's he at?
No, they keep reusing that footage of him from 2 years ago.
Exactly. They've said that Jeff said that he doesn't want to be on TV. You know, as
I
far
don't
as
believe that. I think he's going to induct himself into the Hall of Fame this year. I know that guy.
he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You missed that.
I got to cut back on the weed.
I know.
That was the whole point. He came in for the GFW invasion in 2015. I'm a moron. I'm gonna take one out of Chef's page and drop an F-bomb. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but I don't believe for a second he doesn't want to be on TV. I don't want to see him become the world champion. I definitely don't want that, but I want to see Jeff around. I would rather see Jeff and his wife run the company than just his wife. Because to be honest, I don't think Karen alone has got what it takes.
Well, it depends on what they're doing with her and how much they're giving her. Right now, she enabled EC3 to come out and beat EC3 again. Mm-hmm. And of all the guys on the roster that you worried about, it was EC3 with the new company taking over. You know, where is Ethan Carter III going to go? What is going to happen to Ethan Carter III?
Carter,
EC3,
keyword on Carter. Emphasis on Carter.
Keyword is Carter. He's doing it for the Carters. And you know what? He nailed it. You know what I mean? Now, by the way, did you catch the Young Bucks dig that he threw out there? He had a Young Bucks reference. He talked about, he ragged on the new guys that don't introduce themselves, which is what happened when the Young Bucks went to WWE for their tryout. They got in trouble with Booker T for not introducing themselves. Yeah, he actually took a shot at the Young Bucks, which was actually kind of interesting. But I loved it. He reminded Jeremy Borash about how he shaved his head. Talks about how he's the only true homegrown star they've ever had. And he's reporting for duty, but he's doing it for his last name, not hers. And folks, look, the bottom line is this is the shit we need to see from EC3. Finally, we're getting this from EC3. And then Kyle, I got to tell you, and I'm saying this. I'm saying this out loud. I can't believe I'm saying this. I never thought I'd say this. I dare say we have a promo of the year candidate. And it came from fucking Josh Matthews. Josh Matthews jumped out there and he just freaking nailed it. Okay? And he tells the crowd to shut the hell up. He doesn't care if they want to fire him. He freaking just talks about, Bruce Pritchard, who he thought was dead, thought and hoped was dead, right? Dutch Mantell, who he's been watching since he was a little kid. It's hard not to respect him because he's 267 years old. He knocks JB, a troll who's been a stooge for 25 years. He insulted the crowd for not being able to afford tickets and then told him to shut the hell up.
You know what? I got to cut you off right there. They cut out a very important line, and when I saw that they did it, I was so disappointed. Impact, whether it was for time restraints, which I don't think was the case, they put their tail between their legs at one point here, and if you go back and watch, Josh says something about the crowd not affording tickets, and it gets cut for a second because, I believe Chef confirmed this to me, and I read it all over the internet. In that promo, he said, "These people are here because they can't afford a ticket to NXT." That's hilarious.
Oh, God.
They should have kept that. And you know what? It's so funny because we've bashed Josh for so long, and now in the matter of like 2 weeks, we're on these podcasts saying good things about him. We're actually praising him at the end of our show right now. I would have never expected that. And Josh Matthews, you know what? He reminded me of at the end of the movie Waiting, where the guy's like, fuck you. He's like, and you. Like, it just... Oh, man, and he took that slap like a champion. He spun out.
All I'm going to say is this is my first promo of the year candidate from Josh fucking Matthews. He was unfreaking believable. I mean, he looks at Karen Jarrett and he points at putting JB at the table. Her first move is to put the JV squad with the All-Star at the table. Of course, she nailed it too. She's like, you damn right it was. But, I mean, he just killed it. He totally freaking killed it. It's like, dude, you get crapped on, not because you act like an ass intentionally on Twitter, but because you just suck. You're boring as hell to listen to. And then all of a sudden you start doing this? What? I mean, where'd this come from? And why haven't we been getting this all the time? But don't stop. I mean, this is just great.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I'm a fan, man. I'm a big fan of heel Josh Matthews. He's funny. He's actually funny. He's showing a sense of humor that I never knew he had.
I didn't know he had it either. I mean, he's been dialing it in for so long, and now all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Damn it, I'm gonna freaking nail this, and he freaking killed it. Now it was awesome, and that's all I got to say on that. You know, the only other thing I'll throw out there is he actually did reference that Madison was his wife for the first time. I mean, we all know it, but on air, that's the first time that they brought that up.
Wow, we're giving Josh props. I would have never thought this happened.
Yeah, no, not from this crew anyway. But you know what? We call it the way we see it. If you give us something good, we're going to tell you we love it. If you give us crap, we're going to tell you it's crap. We're honest. That's what we do.
There's a lot of bandwagon and sheep in professional wrestling, but none of them are here on the Heelcast. We call it like it is.
We call it like it is. We call it like we see it. And, you know, if I'm going to call something BS, I'm going to call it BS. If I'm going to say, look, I know that the chances of the Hardys coming back to any other business are next to nothing, but it's wrestling, man. If I can make a buck, I'm going to do it. Don't freaking kid yourself, okay?
Hey, anything can happen in wrestling. Jimmy King came back. They got Jimmy King out of the slumps, and he came back.
We have seen it happen too freaking many times that anybody would ever come back. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, look who that is walking through the freaking doors, professional wrestling.
How many times did the Hardys get fired for drugs? How many times?
I think we lost count.
Matt's been fired from TNA and WWE. Jeff's been fired from TNA and WWE. Like, this is, dude, I hate to bring up WWE. Bret Hart came back to WWE after the screw job and got kicked in the balls by Vince. Like, this is pro wrestling, people. Anything can happen. And when you think you know something, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
All right, Kyle, I'm going to leave it this one thing. Eric Bischoff went to WWE. Eric
Bischoff.
Fucking Bischoff went to WWE. If that can happen, yeah, anything, can happen. But we call it the way we see it. We're going to just say what the hell we're going to say. And with Josh Matthews, we've all been talking about how boring the guy is. And then all of a sudden, it's like, he goes off, he declares himself to be the GOAT, which is like, really, it is kind of funny. I mean, you got to admit.
Hilarious, dude. That's funny. That's funny.
And then he does interviews where he says, well, I don't listen to other wrestling announcers. I only listen to myself. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not how you become the GOAT. And then all of a sudden, he does this. Well, my God, if he did this every week for the next 20 or 25 years, he could almost possibly be Jim Ross. He's sadly it's never going to be Jim Ross, but that's really more of a testament to Jim Ross's greatness than anybody else's, right?
No, what you're trying to say is he could be a Heenan, a Ventura. He could be a Cyrus the Virus. Like, this guy can do heel commentary. Why didn't anybody ever let him do it before?
I don't know, man. You got me.
Bruce Pritchard, I thought he was dead. That was the line that sent me over the edge.
I thought and hoped he was dead.
I thought and hoped he was dead.
I thought and hoped he was dead. And Dutch Mantel, hard not to respect him because he's 267 years old. Awesome. He just freaking killed it, man. So we're gonna give him his props this week, and we're gonna hope that he keeps it up because that's what we want. We want things to be good. We don't want them to be bad. And then when they aren't bad, we say why they're bad. So hopefully somebody will do something about it. So
even though Karen was in the ring for that last segment, and I'm a little iffy on her, now that I think about it, with what EC3 said, he's got a machine to rage against. Put it that way. And we got Josh hitting it out of the park. Things are good, man. Things are looking up. Doesn't matter. Whatever bullshit's going on behind the scenes, Impact's delivering that quality, baby.
Then that's all that we care about completely. And that's why whatever Rebby wants to tweet or Instagram or whatever else, dude, I just don't care. I don't care to get into it. Doesn't affect me anymore. It's actually promoting the product. All they need to do is shift the vibe from negative to positive, which is something Dixie Carter could never do. You know what? Controversy creates cash. Take advantage of the free PR. Take advantage of the fact that they're talking about you. And that's all I got on that. Well, look, Kyle, man, I think we're done the show. You got anything else left?
Nah, we went longer than usual tonight. But there was, things were flowing, man. We got a lot to talk about. We had a lot to put down. We had some problems with Chef. Chef got scared. See, Chef realized what his fate was on Monday night. He had a panic attack. He got scared, and he threw the phone on the ground and smashed it. But Chef, if you're listening, get ready for Monday Night Raw, baby. Do, 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 do.
And on that note, folks, on behalf of my buddy Kyle and Chef, the little we heard from him, and Chef's ventures into Monday Night Raw, I'm Brother_ saying, have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.